City Council at 7:03. Roll call.
Blackwell,
He's on his way.
Cheek,
Present.
Peters,
Present.
Dockery,
Present.
Collins.
Present.
Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Looking for a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Dockery, second by Chief to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nays, the ayes have it. Public comment. Is there anybody here in the public that would like to say about anything that's not on the agenda? All right, may the record show that Adrian Blackwell has arrived at 7:04. Number 5, consideration to approve the minutes from the city council meeting on March 20th. Anybody have any corrections?
Unless anybody does, I make that motion for approval. I'll second.
Motion by Peters, second by Collins to approve the March 20th council meeting minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nay, the ayes have it. 5B, consideration to approve the bills payable. We had a little informational meeting earlier, so this time, if anybody had any questions, now be time to ask about bills payable. Go ahead, Brian.
Chumley Commercial Concrete, Streets and Sidewalks, what did we do for the 2150?
The one thing they did was right outside the parking lot.
In front of the municipal parking lot,
Yeah.
with that street patch there on Franklin Street, where it was just like sinking blacktop.
Yeah, I saw it. Don't hear this. Okay, street and sidewalk patches.
Does it say with the address?
Purple.
Can you find out what it's called? Street and Sidewalk.
I don't know if
Street
that's
and
second.
sidewalk. Just find out, let us know how many squares they did and.
Okay.
Next one's probably for Deputy Chief Andrew. Brian went to training. Where did he go?
As of right now? Where is he, like, today?
No, the bill in here is. for-
Oh, he went to a mobile team, which is across the river.
Okay. Also we bought, $1,000 plus or minus with ammo.
Yes, that was back in, during 2020, early 2022, I believe. It was on the last budget. We were just now getting it in due to COVID problems and things like that, so it just finally came in.
90 cal or 9 millimeter, 40 cal.
9mm, we cut back on the 40 due to the new weapons we purchased a while ago.
Okay,
So most of it is 9mm and then 223 for the rifles.
okay.
Is what most of it is.
Next one is Michael Todd and Company for Greater Blade for $1,970.90. Did you get a bunch of cutting edges, or did they just try to replace the blade, or they tried to replace the blade? My question is, why couldn't they build it up?
It is, Keith did it, it says 3/4 by 6 by 6 foot. CBD, SHP, greater blade, 12 of them.
Cutting edges.
Yeah, there are 12 cutting edges and 150 a piece.
Okay. Next one is P&K Midwest, 19 John Deere service for $2,660. What unit is that? And how did we spend $2,660 on maintenance?
There was an
Sewer department.
O-ring, a speed sensor, and another sensor.
What was it?
An O-ring and 2 sensors. And the sensors were $887 and $979 each. And then labor was $700.
That's the one you do sludge with down there?
It's, yeah, it's snow removal, I don't know, 1 or 2. So. Are those pressure sensitive? Is that how they operate or?
Yeah, in the complaint here, it says, the code that the tractor wanted to default to neutral. So if the description on the diagnostic that they found that there was a debris in the hydraulic system and 2 faults on these 2 sensors, here is what it's reading.
Okay, that's all the questions I have.
Bruce, do you have any?
No.
Adrian, do you have any? Mr. Peters, do you have any?
I do not at this point.
Mr. Collins?
I went over it prior to the meeting.
Okay, so you're good?
Yes, sir.
All right, other than checking on the cement patches, do I hear a motion to approve the bills payable? So
Second.
motion by Blackwell, second by Peters to approve the bills payable with finding out about the cement patches. Roll call. I'm sorry, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nays. Ayes have it. Proclamation of Junior Achievement Day. Is there anybody in the audience here from Junior Achievement? Okay. The city was approached to talk about the Junior Achievement Day. So we are going to make a proclamation. Whereas the city of Eldridge will observe Junior Achievement Day on April 6, 2023 as an opportunity to recognize and celebrate junior achievement in the heartland for empowering our young people to own their economic success. And whereas junior achievement of the heartland's education contribution equips our young people to become the next generation of productive employees and self-sufficient citizens to ensure the economic prosperity of Eldridge. And whereas it is fitting for parents, educators, businesses, and other members of the community to join in Junior Achievement's effort to ensure that the future success of economic health of our young people and the community in which they live. Now, therefore, I, Frank King, Mayor of Eldridge, do hereby proclaim official recognition of April 6, 2023 as Junior Achievement Day in the city of Eldridge, Iowa. Five B, consideration of liquor license approval for Rudy's Tacos. Andrew, how's their insurance look
Insurance?
for the drum insurance for the liquor license?
Oh, we haven't had any issues. We have no issues there.
Does anybody have any questions on the renewal and Rudy's liquor license?
I called today on this, I won't hold it up, but the form's filled out a little differently. It's been that way for years. I just picked it up today. But the name of the legal entity is not the individual's name. If you go back and look at the individual owners on the sheets that we got, you'll see a familiar name there that, city staff has requested the state help them remove that name off of there.
She was listed as the application manager in the back end of the system. That's what she's identified as, not actually as an owner in the system. It is on that sheet.
This sheet says ownership,
Yeah,
I see that.
but you'll see there's 0% next to the name.
but the state's gonna remove that all the way off this form.
Okay,
When it's completed. That's the only comments I have on that one.
so would you make a motion to approve it? And we'll get notification when that comes in?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve it, and the state, like I just said, the state is going to change that to remove that familiar name off the form.
Okay,
I'll second.
motion by Dockery, a second by Cheek to approve the liquor license renewal for Rudy's Tacos. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nays, the ayes have it. Consideration to approve the liquor license renewal for Cabo's Cantina and Grill. Chief, how have them been?
Yep, yeah, same thing with that. We haven't had any issues with the combos.
Make a motion to approve their application.
Second.
Motion by Dockery, second by Peters to approve Cabo's liquor license renewal. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nays, the ayes have it. 5F, consideration to approve the liquor license renewal for the granary.
Same thing with all, we haven't seen any issue there.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve the liquor license renewal for the granary?
Right, just one comment.
Yes.
The dram shop cancellation date on page 2 of their form. You'll notice it says June 30th, 2022. I inquired about that today, and it's because originally they didn't have outdoor and they came back to us at a later time from initially opening. So that's why their outdoor service stuff will expire in June, on June 30th this year. So that's when it started.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So there's a lag between their normal liquor license and their outdoor sales license, just for clarification.
I see that.
But with that, I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Dockery, second by Chief to approve the liquor license renewal for the granary. All those in favor say aye. Nays, the ayes have it.
But we'll just kind of have to make mental note that between them and us, make sure that it's caught at that time in June.
Job's been pretty on top of them.
The Board of Adjustment, one of the members, Bob Keel's term is expiring. I reached out to Mr. Keel and he would like to renew his service on the Board of Adjustment. So I'm recommending the City Council reappoint Bob Keel for another 5 years to the Board of Adjustments, with his next term expiring on March 19th of 2028.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Dockery, second by Peters to approve Bob Keel to another 5-year term expiring on March 19th, 2028. All those in favor say aye. Nays, the ayes have it.
He's got a lot of experience. He's done a good job for us.
Yeah. 6, old business. The third and final reading of ordinance 2023-11 rezoning 213 West Donnie Street from C2 Central Business District to R3 Multifamily Residential District. Jeff, has anybody called upon that?
We've received no comments, Mayor.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on that house rezoning? All right,
No questions on the motion.
okay. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion by Blackwell, second by Collins to approve the third and final reading of ordinance 2023-11, rezoning 213 West Donahue Street from C2 Central Business District to multifamily residential. Roll call.
Cheek,
Aye.
Peters,
Aye.
Dockery,
Aye.
Collins,
Aye.
Blackwell.
Third and final reading of ordinance 2023-11 passes. On to 7A. Want to open public hearing on the fiscal year 24 proposed city budget. Your motion.
Motion to open public hearing, FY 24 city budget.
Motion by Peters, second by Blackwell to open public hearing on city 2024 proposed city budget. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nays, ayes have it. Do I hear a motion to go into closed the public hearing on the fiscal 2024 proposed city budget?
Does anybody in the public have a question on our budget?
Mr. James.
One question there, is there any kind of presentation of what's taking place as far as this budget here, the highlights? I see no highlights or anything of anything, no projection. We usually traditionally have a highlight of what all the things are. I see nothing going on at that point. Now we're gonna turn around without understanding, public and understanding it, we turn right around and opt the same meeting instead of taking it to the next meeting. Because they're due at the end of April.
Correct.
Okay, so why is the rush to get it adopted tonight without the public having the opportunity to review it prior to the end of the month, when it can be done at the next meeting? At the end of the month.
It can be. I look back over the last 4 or 5 years and traditionally it was done the same night. The publication was in North Scott Press 2 weeks ago with the budget in it.
I saw the one-page thing, but you get quite a bit of documentation there. There's no highlights of what's going on. Traditionally, we explain what's going on. You don't have to, you just question. Okay, so I got no answer.
Make a motion to close public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Dockery, second by Cheek to close public hearing.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Yes.
It's Collins that seconded.
Oh, I'm sorry. Second by Collins. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nay, the ayes have it. Consideration of resolution 2023-10 approving the fiscal year 24 city budget. Resolution approving the fiscal year 24 city budget. Whereas the city of Eldridge, Iowa is required to assemble a budget of revenues and expenses for the fiscal year, and whereas the city council conducted a public hearing regarding the budget of revenues and the expenditures for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2024. Now therefore be resolved by the city council of the city of Eldridge, Iowa, one, that the budget for the fiscal year July 1, 2023 to June 30th, 2024, as outlined on attached form is hereby adopted. Two, that the city staff is hereby authorized and instructed to file the budget for the fiscal year July 1, 2023 to June 30th, 2024 with the Scott County Auditor in the state of Iowa, passed and approved this third day of April, 2023. Roll call.
Discussion?
Does anybody have any discussion for the packet that Tony gave you guys a couple weeks ago?
I'm fine, sir.
Okay, and everybody.
Just want to make a point, it's been a challenging budget to put together. Tony's done a good job. We did have increased costs. We added 2 new police officers we have to account for. We increased, which is about $200,000. We increased, fire department funding, about $100,000. We had a shortfall from the state of $80,000 from their mixed calculation on the rollbacks that we had to deal with all that. Normally the budget would have been done, had to been done last month, but because of the state screw up, that's why we have till April to do it, but we had to come up with those shortcomings. I know the assessors sending out new notices here recently. I was shocked when I got mine, but at some point in time, that's only one leg of the equation. Well, we'll have to get, just because your valuation went up 24%, kind of typical in the Eldridge area, doesn't mean your taxes are going up 24%. The state still has to define the rollback for next year. And then once these increased proposed numbers take effect, council at that time, whoever's around this table doing the budgeting, will have the duty to see how much money we need to run the city, then roll the levy back. So I know there's a lot of confusion out in the community about the tax assessor's current stuff. I was alarmed, but when I sit back, that's one leg of it. We still have input to change it for next year. That's all I have.
Okay. Anybody else?
Thank you for the insight, Councilman.
Roll call. I thought it did. Is there a vote? I thought there was a motion. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Cheek, second by Blackwell to approve the fiscal year 2024 city budget. Roll call.
Peters,
Aye.
Dockery,
Aye.
Collins,
Aye.
Blackwell,
Aye.
Cheek.
Aye.
7D, resolution 2023-11, establishing a K-9 and donation policy. Assistant Chief Andrew, will you talk about this a little bit?
Yeah, so, the chief's away at training right now. I think he's gone all week. In conversations with the mayor, there's been a lot of support coming in reference to canine donations. And we felt it would be necessary for a policy to be in place reference that. Instead of just going out and buying whatever with that donation money, we thought it would be good to come to the city council and say, hey, we have a recommendation to get, say, this equipment for this purpose, so everyone is involved. So that's kind of what this resolution came up with. I know the chief has kind of surpassed his goal with the canine donations, so we just thought it was comfortable that something needs to be in place, policy-wise, on how to disperse those funds, per se.
And which any money expended by the police department, whether a donation, whether it has to be approved by the council anyway, so I think this resolution is appropriate.
I agree.
Does anybody make questions on this? Okay. Resolution 2023-11, a resolution establishing a policy for law enforcement donated funds. Whereas the Eldridge Police Department will at times receive donation funds for the Eldridge Police Department and or K-9 fund, and whereas these donated funds are to be deposited into the 008 Community Policing Fund, and whereas all funds donated to the police department must be used for law enforcement purposes, and whereas the City Council of Eldridge, Iowa is responsible to approve all expenses made on behalf of the city, and whereas the police chief and or deputy chief may on occasion have recommendations to the City Council for expenses or purchases to be made from the donated funds. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Eldridge, Iowa directs the police chief and or deputy chief to make all requests for the use of donated funds in writing to the City Council for consideration and approval, passed and approved this day, April 3rd, 2023. Roll call.
I make a motion to approve the resolution as read.
Second that.
Motion by Collins, motion by Dockery, second by Collins to approve the K-9 Resolution Fund 2023-11. Roll call.
Dockery,
Aye.
Collins,
All right.
Blackwell,
Aye.
Chief,
Aye.
Peters.
Aye.
70, consideration resolution 23-12, establishing a policy for police forfeiture funds.
So this is kind of just like the donation policy of the canine. There's never really been a police forfeiture policy that I've seen. This year alone, we've had some pretty big narcotics cases where a significant amount of cash has been seized. That's in the process of going through forfeiture right now. But also with the donation or with the policy, we want everyone to know what is going on. Obviously, like Brian said, you got to have city council approval, but we just wanted a policy in place as there never really has been for city forfeitures on the police department side. Yes, sir.
I don't probably, is there any timeline on forfeitures, or is it just a lot of times it's the individual case and amounts, other entities involved, and
It depends. So basically what happens is the county attorney will do up the forfeiture paperwork. What they do is then they send that person involved in that case, a letter, and they have a certain time frame to respond to that, kind of like an appeal process kind of thing. It usually is 30 to 60 days. So we are still waiting to kind of hear back on if it's going to go through the appeal process or what on some of those cases. But
it doesn't add up for months and
No,
months and years.
no.
Resolution 2023-12, a resolution establishing a policy for police forfeiture funds. Whereas the Eldridge Police Department will at times receive forfeiture funds from cases in and around Eldridge. And whereas the forfeiture funds are to be deposited into the 008 Community Policing Fund, and whereas all forfeiture funds must be used for law enforcement purposes in accordance with Iowa Code Chapter 809A, and whereas the City Council of Eldridge, Iowa is responsible to approve all expenses made on behalf of the city, and whereas the police chief and or deputy chief may on occasion have recommendations to the City Council for expenses or purchases to be made from the forfeiture funds. Now therefore be resolved that the City Council of Eldridge, Iowa directs the police chief and or deputy chief to make all requests for the use of forfeiture funds in writing to the city council for consideration approval, passed and approved this day, April 3rd, 2023.
Make a motion, we approve, resolution 2023-12.
Motion by Cheek, second by Blackwell to approve resolution 2023-12, establish a police forfeiture fund policy. Roll call.
Collins.
Aye.
Blackwell.
Aye.
Cheek.
Aye.
Peters.
Aye.
Dockery.
Aye.
Resolution 23-12, establish the police forfeiture fund passes. Thank you. Number 8, closed session for Iowa Code 21.51 L to evaluate the professional competency of individuals, appointment, hiring, performance, or discharge is being considered when necessary to prevent needless and irreparable injury to that individual's reputation, and that individual requests a closed session.
Your Honor, should we address the students before we go into closed session?
Yes,
So they don't have to be here
Yeah,
until
that's a
midnight.
good idea. Was anybody here from the government class? Could you please stand up and say your name? One at a time, please. Can you say your last name too, please?
WYE.
Okay,
Ryan
And-
Ziegler.
okay,
Nora Glover.
all right.
And for the record, first three were here way before our meeting started.
Kudos.
Nice job.
Yes.
Way to go. Thank you for coming and, hope you get something out of it. Hope you somewhere down the line, look into things and, before you complain about, things that happen in the city, look into it, see the reasons why and stuff. And if you're still ardent about what goes on, sign up your name and run for office someday. A couple of us here were at North Scott, well, more than that, years ago, and we're sitting here and we never ever thought we would be when we were in your shoes. So just keep an open mind and keep participating.
And if you want to come up, we'll sign your forms. That way you can get out of here tonight at a decent hour.
And before you leave, if you haven't, there's also a form over there to sign when that you were here tonight. Have you signed that?
Anybody from council members, leaders all the way around, well, except for Andy.
How you doing tonight? Find anything interesting or just kind of?